Alright, welcome back to Horizon 5, and we're in an interesting predicament because we want to do the weekly challenge, which requires owning and driving the 2017 Ford GT. I can win that by doing this seasonal championship. However, in order to take part in this seasonal championship, I need either a car that costs 9 million or a car that costs 11 million. Looks like we get one of those as a reward from this championship, or one I can just buy from the shop here. That's this number 2 Ford GT40. I have the points, so I may as well just do that. But I might want to race the Ferrari, so we can also get this Veneno. Why not? I've got plenty of points for the time being. I can just cram a bunch of arcades if I really want more later. Let's get this seasonal championship out of the way then. 800 Super Saloons. I should have a few of those. And in fact, I have quite a few. So we'll go for the one that has the rating of 800. So that should be the best. I had a 799 as well, but we'll go with this. It's telling me about the new cars I've collected. That's the new expensive ones. Okay. What course is this? Okay, I thought this had better braking than that. Never mind. This does have four-wheel drive, so I'll need to remember about that. That might change my cornering strategy a bit. So far we're doing alright. Overbraked, if anything. Once again, as I've touched on before, it's a constant case of having to get used to jumping between cars. The last car I was racing was a muscle car, which is very different. Getting some good drafting points at least. Now we're only a third of the way through the track, plenty of time to chase these guys down. Not that I'd like to leave it till the last minute, but... Ooh, this thing runs wide. That's not so pleasant. Just because it's rated 800 doesn't mean to say it's actually very good, it turns out. I might have rated it just for speed, for a particular challenge at some point, as opposed to my usual handling package. So the braking's good. So there's that. The acceleration's also really good. So we're at least keeping up with everyone. Braked a bit too early on that one, but didn't want to just shunt up behind everyone. We're running out of track though, aren't we? Maybe we should have raced the 799 Alpha instead. Alphas are also just prettier cars. Maybe that'll be the next couple. Yeah, we're almost out of track, and we're still 4th, so we might just have to win the next two. I don't like doing that, but I've been doing that an awful lot lately. Partly just because it takes me a bit to get back into playing the game after so long not playing the game, I suspect. Okay, we did that corner much better than everyone else, it turns out, so we can carry a lot more speed through here. Don't get caught behind them, and taken. So I did talk about whether or not I'd switch cars, but I've decided to just trust with this one, and we'll assume that I just wasn't racing very well, and we'll aim to do better. We've got 3 laps to be able to dial into this one. I always prefer when it actually starts with a lap race instead of a sprint. This does give you plenty of time to get used to the car and the handling. I really don't think you should lose your bonus or your combo because you crashed into the back of someone, because they brake way too much. But it's also not like I need the combo points, so... That that's much better cornering than the first race. And we're ahead, and we just need to stay there. Sorry, I was just in the zone there for a bit. I should make efforts to be more entertaining rather than just focusing on the race at hand, especially when I'm way out ahead anyway. I was trying to do like a clean lap pretty much on that one. Yeah, I think we managed pretty well. Bit more used to the car now, and trying to remember that with the all-wheel drive especially, I need to make sure to get on the power a little bit through the corners. Can't just skid out wide all the time. The AI never seems to take a good line through any of these sections, so we have a huge advantage there. I do quite like this track. Any track where you get an advantage over the AI is a winner in my book. I might be slightly biased. But it's a nice enough car anyway. Got one more championship to do after that, and then we'll have won our Ferrari, and we can then decide whether we take that or the Ford for the other championship. But of course I shouldn't be talking too much about what to do for the next race, because we still need to get this one behind us. So let's not count any chickens before we run them over. Out of the way. So, a sprint race to finish. I vaguely remember this one. I think this one has you going along the side of the lake, or reservoir, as it's known in the race title. Catching up on everyone straight away. I still haven't figured out how everyone seems to get the jump on me off the line. This car has a 10 in launch rating, and that doesn't seem to matter. I don't know if it's because I'm using the launch control and I shouldn't, but surely the whole point of launch control should be that it helps get the acceleration off the line. That seems to be the name. But presumably the real pro strat is not to use launch control and just be better. I should just turn it off and see what the difference is, to be honest. But the acceleration stat in general is pretty high for this car, so we should be in a pretty good position on any of these corners, so long as we don't completely balls it up, like that one. But we're ahead anyway, so that's better. Yes, going alongside the lake. I completely forgot what season it even is at the moment, whether or not there's water in the lake currently, or if it's dried up at the moment. Is it a reservoir or is it a mud flat? I don't know. Is it dry or hot season? No, there's water in it, so it must be like wet or something. Because they don't call them by the normal names, I forget the order of operations. Whichever the season, it is Ferrari season. So that gives us either car for this particular one, GT40 or number 24 Ferrari P4. Now, I'm not going to do this right now because this is the Goliath, and that is the largest race on the map, and it'll probably take me like 20 to 30 minutes to complete by itself. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all the other things that we can do this season first, and leave that till last. That'll be a separate video of its own, I feel. So first things first, we've got Treasure Hunt, Danish Cars, Oceano Azul, 3 stars. That's all we need. If you're not sure which cars are Danish, because it's hard to keep track, you can sort, and you can specify by country, and then we can jump through, and I don't have any, so that's not a good start. Thankfully, you can apply the same filter when it comes to the auto show. And let's go back to Denmark. TSR Venvo, 1.2 million? Ugh, we need to check. Is this a car that we can win from something else? That looks like it might be it. Zenvo TSRS? Let's find out. Whether it is or not, the Event Lab races are usually a pretty good way to pick up some easy points. Bit hit and miss, as I've said before. This isn't on the Event Lab island, at least, so it's using an existing template. I do prefer the ones where you're just racing against yourself instead of others. Basically, they've taken a normal racetrack and just added a bunch of crap. They have just maxed out all of the extra things that you can add just for the sake of set dressing. Which is fine. It's very noisy visually, which I'm not a huge fan of. It makes it really hard to see where the corners can be sometimes. We've got 3 laps of this to get through. And once again, we're having to get used to racing a new car. Once again, this is an old Maserati that I have lying around. It is tuned up, so I've clearly needed it for something before. I mean, don't get me wrong, this looks like a nice racetrack overall. Whoa, that was terrible. I'm actually going to rewind that one. Not quite sure where I thought I was going with that. I thought, on the map, I thought that I was going off to the other road, not this road. This doesn't seem to have a huge amount of acceleration, but cutting the corner through there works. Okay, you can drive through those tyres. Wasn't sure. Oh, okay, I just got stuck in the wall on that one. That's the other thing, is when they put in... Can we brake a bit more there? A little bit. When they're putting in just random things that aren't usually there, you get odd collision surfaces occasionally. It looks smooth, but you can see on closer inspection there are some deviations, and you can just get stuck. Of course, the answer there is don't hit the wall forehead, but, you know, easier said than done sometimes. Okay, final lap. Can we chase down these two? This is just a one and done. We do have to win it. This isn't a championship where we have 3 shots. Room to go wide. Yeah, our braking is not as good as his because we started braking at about the same time and it didn't go as well. But we're ahead and that's what matters. Just try skipping across some of these corners. Go wide on here. Still didn't turn in a good position. My problem, I think, is I try and accelerate through that chicane when I need to leave it until the other side. Yeah, that one I can get the power on much earlier at a different point than I was doing. Ooh, he caught up. It does bug me when they catch up so quickly, and then on the inside seem to be able to go faster than I can. It seems very rude. Well, good enough. Let's get this done. Bit messy, but we got there, and that is, I believe, the car we wanted. Now that we've got the right car, and we've identified the right speed trap, We just need to follow this road all the way through to the coast, basically. Past the golf club, I think. And we need to get up to about 360. Okay, so we were able to tweak the aerodynamics a little bit, so we've changed the aero just slightly for speed, and that's done. And we almost flew. Perfect. Now, I wonder how painfully obvious it's going to be this time, and how long it'll take us to find it. Well, that just looks wrong. Our spoiler turns as we turn. I mean, I get it, but also, that just looks weird. Oh, we did actually find it already. We drove over the top of it. I never realized that it reveals it on the map when you get close enough. That's funny. Oomph, there we go. 250,000. Meanwhile, we have unlocked the first prize for the series. Pro Stock Camaro. Nice. And halfway to an HW Trans Am. So while we're in a super fast car that we've tuned for speed, we should probably check off some of these other speed-based challenges. Let's see if we can get fast enough down here. It is downhill, which helps. We only need to do about 320, I think. 325. Presumably not enough. Oh, incorrect car for seasonal objective. Ah, see, I thought that having a fast car would be good. Ah, so I didn't pay attention to the prerequisites. S1900 Super GT. So we'll choose our filters, and what have we got here? Well, the highest rated of them is this Ferrari. So now that we've got the right kind of car, we just need to see whether or not we can get the right kind of speed. Which means carrying a decent pace through this corner, not skidding out now that it's started to rain, and hopefully no traffic gets in our way down the hill. We need to get about 300 and something k's an hour, is it? 307.8, that looks like it's been enough. There we go. Excellent. And on to the next. Now the next one is a speed zone, which means we need to carry the speed throughout the duration. Which is all well and good when there's straights, but then you get to these sorts of corners here, and we've got to... can we cut this corner? Oh, we can cut this corner. Get a little bit cheeky there. A little bit cheeky. Thankfully, the NPC cars get ghosted. But still not enough? No, that's enough, apparently. 196. For some reason I thought I needed to get over 200. Excellent. And the next one, it turns out, is just along this road. So, we may as well drive there. Why not? No, I don't care about Horizon Arcade. We don't race between objectives often enough in this. Usually just resort to fast travelling. But hey, every now and then, it's nice to just take a car for a spin. Sometimes literally. And it also means we've got to get a good run up anyway. So, we need to be doing like 260, I think. Which is a lot, especially given the fact there's a couple of corners leading up to this one. No, that's not going to help. Yeah, okay, I think this is one where we're going to have to get from the other direction, because carrying that sort of speed through this sort of corner doesn't seem likely, whereas the other side's actually not too far off. 250 we ended up at. If that had been a better corner, then maybe we would have managed. But this side feels a little bit gentler. So I guess we'll run it back from the other direction and see if we can corner a bit better leading up to it. Ooh, not if we hit traffic. Unfortunately, the traffic does not get ghosted for speed traps, only speed zones. Not quite. Like 2k short. So, third time's the charm then, I guess. And we'll see whether or not we can do these corners a little bit better on the lead up. Need to be able to take a decent amount of speed through this one. Not hit the traffic. Still, or just enough. I thought that wasn't going to be enough. Instead, it was just enough. Fantastic. And with that, we now have the 98 Elantra for the season. Well, I guess now we can try and do the Event Lab Island race. And we can use the BMW M3 that we tuned up just slightly for a speed trap requirement last season. So always nice to get a bit of extra use out of a car that you've had to sink some money into somewhere along the way. This is not great for cornering though. We did need it for speed. So we'll see how we go. The Event Lab Island ones are often the really tricky ones when it comes to the AI and pathing. They sometimes struggle somewhat. This looks like a decent raceway. The silhouette of the racetrack actually feels a little bit familiar. I don't know if it's meant to be based on a real raceway. But some of these corners feel, yeah, familiar, which is interesting. Just inside the marker for that one. It is 3 laps. Very long laps though, that's for sure. Not a great corner through there, but good enough to get past. And that's all that matters. The place that the checkpoints are dotted down, it's throwing me off a little bit in a couple of the places. I feel that I'm expecting them to be at the apex of the corner and not quite, I think. That's on me for trying to rely on... that was rubbish. That's on me for trying to rely too much on those as a cue instead of just what the track is actually telling me. Okay, still not great, but better. Got 1 lap and it's over 1:30. Jeez. So used to laps being much shorter. That wasn't great. Yeah, this is definitely not set up for cornering. That means we get good speed on the straights. That wasn't too bad though. Well, it didn't seem too bad, but everyone seemed to still catch up to me, so who knows. I think I braked too early for that one. Should have braked for the second corner instead. But now there's this one. This is the one where the checkpoint markers seem to be in slightly the wrong place. That or I'm just not aiming for the right area anyway. It's entirely probable. Ooh, that's too wide. Yeah, see, we thought that was completely different. That was a much tighter corner than I expected. Yeah, now these guys have gotten much better. He tried to push me off the road. Not happy with that. They had a much better exit to that last corner. If they'd just kept going straight, they'd have gone ahead of me, but instead they tried to turn into me. And that was their mistake, really. The flags are almost at the point that I need to start turning rather than the midpoint that I'm expecting. Maybe they're at the point that I should be starting to accelerate. Okay, that I just did badly, but whatever. At this point, past caring. Still managing to get there. Yeah, that seemed a bit better that time. Unfortunately, the map keeps zooming out, so I can't actually tell when it gets to the corners what line it's expecting me to take through there, because that's kind of the AI line that gets shown, and I'm unable to see where I am going against that. It's this last corner, I just cannot get that last corner. That would take a lot of practice, I think. But we don't have to care, because we're going to win just. Got to do this final corner. And we managed to pull it out. And got just enough time right now to do the last of the event labs events, which looks like it's not going to be great because it mentioned fast straights and tight turns using hypercars. So this just sounds exhausting, quite frankly. So after this, I think I might need a break. We'll see how we go in our Lamborghini. Yeah, here's the fast straight that isn't quite straight. And then we've got a really tight turn at the end, that's for sure. So okay, let's brake good and early. And just get our way through. There we go. Shunt out anyone that gets in our way. Just got inside that checkpoint. Alright. Now, I almost liked having them in front of me because they gave me an indication of where to brake. So we're just going to have to make it up as we go along. This is a weird track. It's like got trees and everything, but it's constructed in the middle of a sand dune area. So it's very odd. And it doesn't help that this is built on the part of an actual road. So our map is very confusing. Then we've got to turn all the way back. Almost did a handbrake turn on that one. Ooh, that's gone white. That's not great. Okay, but now we can just open up the taps a little bit. This part I enjoy. Everything leading up to it, not so much. And we overcooked that. Thankfully this is a pretty good on the brakes. They would be very warm after that maneuver, that's for sure. We'll go more of a straight line through here than it seems, I think. Kind of corners that aren't really corners. Followed up by a couple of corners that really are corners. A little bit over braking on those. Now this bit I really don't like. I was never a fan of hairpin bends in general. They just seem so anticlimactic. And then whatever this is can really go screw itself. It's like a hairpin on the back of a hairpin. It's just, ugh. Not great. This one really looks like a hairpin because not only does it have the sharp bend, but it also has the little compressy bit right up here, which is where it actually like puts tension on the hair. So that's fun. Yeah, I was not wrong. That was a fairly exhausting map to get through. Only about a minute or so per lap at least, so not like the minute 30 the last one, but quite an ordeal. There's someone's bumper, probably mine. Right, and with that we're going to call it there for this episode. We've got the Goliath to do next time round, which is going to take a little while, because that's a very long map, and after that we'll get the Ford GT17 that allows us to complete the weekly challenge, so we'll finish that off, and that's the 10 points that we need to get the rest of the season unlocked, and we'll get our Alfa Romeo 155. And beyond that, we'll see how much time we've got available at the end of that episode, whether or not we also do some of the daily challenges or the final of the seasonal championships. I don't really care about doing the trial. I'm fairly sure I already have that 911 GT1. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.